Connection is everything. I tried to find a connection that would fill the emptiness that was inside of me, but when I couldn't find that, I kind of just hid within myself. I lost who I truly was. I kept hoping, hoping that somehow, some way, that connection was out there, finding its way to me.
So I was the first person to join this church, believe it or not. I remember very specifically sitting in my friend's basement at the time, listening to Mike and Monica, who were babies themselves, sharing their first Bible study with us. And did I mention I was 7? It was supposed to be an adult Bible study, I think, but 3 kids showed up. I'm pretty sure it was not what they expected it to look like. But as I grew up, so did the church. I got to see so many people join this church family, including my husband. I met my husband when I was 14, and we literally served in the church, cleaning up floors and setting up chairs and driving teens to and from their house and just pouring into their lives. And what's so cool is that now my husband and I are raising our family in the church and watching their lives change and become part of the thread. And I know that my family can have a big impact on someone because I saw it firsthand as a kid.
I think Cassie was around 12 or 13 when I moved into her house. I was a young kid, starting out again, wanting to go to Bible college, but had really no way of doing it on my own. And the Claynos let me live with them, and I'm so thankful for that time. I remember hanging out a lot with Cassie's brother, mentoring, just being there, just listening. This is a time where I really began to realize that my life really wasn't just for me. It was there for others, to help, to listen, and to encourage. Then I met this kid, really had no clue of what was inside of him. But he had so much potential, so much future. I remember spending about an hour a week with this kid, just teaching him about what God had in store for him, what God has really put within him. JD always says I helped him out so much. I don't see that. All I remember is helping him see what God made him out to be.
Dennis helped me out so much, no matter what he says. I was 18 and Jesus had just intersected my life in a huge way. My first Sunday in church, Dennis and Michelle had just announced their engagement. I mean, this guy had so much on his plate, but every week he would meet with me. He helped me to break out of my shell, so, all this is really his fault. But I figured if this guy said that Jesus had a better me, then maybe I should find this better me. 18 years of faking it became like laser focused on seeking God. I mean, everything changed. My friends, my passions, my purpose, because, I started to actually have some. I don't even want to imagine where I would be without this church that Jesus has planted me in. I would not have my wife and family. I would not have the skills that I learned in this house that have actually shaped my career. And I never would have discovered this God-given confidence to step into leadership. Who I am now is so completely different than the aimless introvert that I was in high school. If you would have known me in high school, you would notice the huge difference that God and His church has made. Which is funny because that's kind of exactly what happened.
JD and I actually went to high school together. I was planning our high school reunion 10 years later and got to reconnect with JD through some video purposes. Little did I know that God was weaving something even bigger. JD mentioned that he went to City Life and invited me out to his daughter's dedication. The moment that I stepped through the doors, City Life felt like home. And Cassie was actually the first person that I met. During my first year at City Life, I was actually going through a career change. I wasn't so concerned about making money, and I thought, well, geez, I just want to do what I love to do, even if I didn't make as much money. I trusted that in doing what I loved, God would provide the paychecks. So I started my own business and became a boot camp trainer. And Cassie, the first girl I met at church, actually joined our classes, and in time, she got to work right alongside me in business. During that season, Jesus had given me great compassion for all those who were just getting started and those who were struggling and really didn't know which way to turn from there. It became a door opener to sharing how City Life has changed my life, and I was able to invite them out. As a result, I've been privileged to help many women find their home here at City Life.
When I think back to my journey of finding City Life, it reminds me of a puzzle. There was many missing pieces and holes, gaps in connection, needing support. But now, as time has gone on, I do realize how God used these pieces to build something far greater. My first experience with City Life Church was a Shine event that I had gone to. One of the women that I had known there was Christine Restand. She was a woman that I had grown up with in the community. We had been on the same sports team, and she later married a man that I had known growing up. Our connection had grown over the years as I did join her boot camp class, and she was able to help me work through a personal struggle that I've carried with me. It was at that same Shine event that Monica had asked, is there any way that there's a connection into the schools? I was really humbled by City Life as well as the Shine event. So I felt in my heart that it was the right thing to do to let them know that I was a social worker in the school system. I was able to help get this presentation called Mirror Mirror into the schools. This presentation was directed towards our high school and our junior high girls, where hundreds of girls received this message based on self-worth and identity and value. We often underestimate the power of connection. God's plan is perfect. And for all the times we wonder in life why, it's because it grows us to be the best us. It changes who we are. It puts all of the pieces back together, and it brings us back to Him.
If I was a puzzle, I definitely had pieces missing. So one day when I was at school and I heard about this thing, Mirror Mirror, I decided to check it out. And suddenly, someone was telling me I had value, I had purpose. But there's another voice inside me, thoughts of suicide. So I decided to talk to my school counselor, and I got the number of a youth leader at City Life Church. So every Tuesday night, I go to a small group based off the Mirror Mirror curriculum. And there were all these other teenagers, and I saw the life in them, kind of life that I wanted. And over time, I realized the life that they had, the piece of the puzzle that they found, it was Jesus. Jesus has changed my life. He's given me value and purpose that I used to not see in me. He really made me realize who I was meant to be and where I'm meant to go in life. He's created this family in church that just opened my eyes to doors that I didn't know were there before. And it's so weird to think that 23 years ago, some brand new pastors and a couple of kids started a thread that would weave its way through so many people and opportunities, giving me a chance to say yes to Jesus. Every story is a part of His story, and I know that through me and the rest of our current church family, that this story is far from over.